All right. Um, the first question I have for you is: tell me, where did you grow up, and what was your childhood like?
Okay, so I was born in Englewood Hospital. Um, I lived in Bergenfield till I was 4 years old. And then we moved to Rivervale. My mom and dad, we built a nice house in Rivervale at 4 years old. So I went to the Rivervale school system. Um, it was a great neighborhood, great neighbors. Back in the day, playing kickball and softball in the road, and even touch football in the road. Um, there's a lot of woods around our house, so we did a lot of things like that. Building tree forts and climbing trees and hiking and even building rafts. We lived by the Hackensack River. We were able to build a raft and put it in the river and bring it down and then carry it back and things like that. So it was a real nice way to grow up. Um, and I lived in that house till I was I guess I was 10 or 11. I think I was 11 years old. I lived in that house. And my dad left home. My dad left. I really pretty much never saw him again. And we moved to another part of Rivervale. And Rivervale's still nice. So I still had all my friends. It's a different area of Rivervale. And I was able to, at that point, I was in middle school, middle school back then was 6, 7, and 8. And so I guess I was in sixth grade, and I was able to walk to school. Had a lot of friends, and I started playing music very early. Right then, I started playing music when I was probably 10 or 11, um, and writing songs. And by the time I was 13, I was in a band.
Nice.
So that was fun, and a lot of my friends were musicians. Um, I had quite a few friends, but obviously, when you're playing with music with people, there's a good bond. So many of those friends stayed with me for close to a lifetime. So it was a I had there was certainly some childhood trauma, being that I had no dad,
Yeah.
and but all in all, I had a nice childhood with good social life and all that, and I had two great older sisters.
All right. The next question is: what jobs did you have as a teenager? What did you do with the money you have earned?
Okay, so my first job was I was always a hustler. So my first job, I was a paper boy,
Nice.
and I had one route, and the guy down the street, his name was Michael Fichter, and he had a paper route also, and you're only allowed to have one paper route. So he was going to get rid of his paper route. So I said, no, don't get rid of it. I said, I'll do it. Back then, I think I was making $4 a week. So I said, I'll give you $1. You don't even have to do it. I'll do everything, and you just get $1, and I'll do the work. So now instead of one paper out, I had two. So I was making $7 a week and tips, and I'd get tips when I go collecting. Once a week, you go collecting for the newspaper. Um, so I was a hustler. I started young doing that, um, and I was really into cooking too. So I started, actually, my second job really was probably music, because I started playing at parties and things like that. And although in the very beginning I played for free, was somewhat in demand, so I was able to charge pretty quick.
Yeah.
Uh, and then, other than that, I always loved cooking, so I started dishwashing in a nursing home, and I became friends with the chef, and he taught me some cooking. And so those are my first jobs, really: music and paperboy, music, cooking, and restaurant type of stuff.
Yeah. So, what did you do with the money that you earned?
I was not a good saver. Not until not probably not until I met my second wife was I a really good saver. Um, but I definitely bought myself plenty of guitars and musical equipment. Um, and I always got things I liked. Had a nice car. Um, so once again, I was not a good saver, and as an older gentleman, I would tell you, don't follow in my footsteps there. Always save. and I learned how to save later on in life. And it's really fun. I wish I had that kind of guidance when I was young because things would be really really good. But I certainly landed on my feet, and um, now that I know how to manage my money or rely on somebody who does, things are way better. So it's all good.
Yeah. All right. Next question is: if you could ever relive your childhood year, would you? And if so, why or why not?
Um, you know what? I I'm a true believer in you are you follow a path that's almost already set up for you. So where I ended up landing, and as you know, I own a theater company for 22 years, uh, successful musician, and a voice of a radio station. A lot of things. I feel like I landed exactly where I was going to land. So I feel if I did it over again, I wouldn't land here. I might land somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do it over again. Even with some of the struggles, I feel like I followed the path I was supposed to follow, and I feel like I landed exactly where I'm supposed to land.
All right. Next question is: how did you meet your wife?
Okay, so I dated my wife in 1983. So that was before electricity and housing. I'm only kidding. But I did. I met her in 1983 at a restaurant that I was a cook at, and I was playing a lot back then. I was in an original band that put out records, and we were doing well, but not well enough that I couldn't have a second job. So I was a chef at a restaurant because I had been cooking my whole life. I still love that. So um, she filled in one night. I mean, one afternoon, and we got along immediately. We ended up going skiing, and we ended up dating for quite a while, and that fizzled out. I was probably 22, and she was a year and a half older than me, and that fizzled out after maybe 4 or 5 months. But we really loved each other. We did, and then we both went our own ways. We each had one daughter, um, and we reconnected after 32 or 33 years. And the reconnection was as powerful, maybe even more powerful than the original one. So we dated for a year and a half. I asked her to marry me. We got married in 2018, and that's where we stand now.
That's nice. Um, when you were younger, what did you imagine your job would be when you were older?
My first real idea of what I wanted to do was to be an actor. I always wanted to be an actor. Um, Even before I picked up the guitar, I knew I wanted to be an actor. That's a hard road to take. And I did pick up the guitar at maybe 9.5 or 10 years old. And I fell in love with the guitar. I still wanted to be an actor, and I did pursue that through high school. And so, pretty much where what I really wanted at a young age, although I don't act as much as I do now, voiceover work is acting, and owning a theater company obviously is you have to have those skills, and you get to use them. So that was my first passion, was acting. Then music really fell in, so I was able to actually capitalize on both of my kind of dreams, and make music and acting my life.
All right. Um, tell me how you would like people to remember you.
I would like to be remembered certainly as a good husband and a father, but also as a mentor. I'd like to be remembered as a mentor. As you know, I work with thousands of kids and young adults over the years, and I believe that I form nice bonds with them, and I always hope that I bring them to another level. So I'd like to be remembered as a good man and a good mentor.
Okay. Um, what event changed your life for the better or for the worst?
Okay. So I would have to probably say there were two that really changed my life. And number one was probably when my dad left. Um, I wouldn't say it was for the worse. It wasn't good, but I think it shaped me as to becoming a man quicker, and realizing I needed to take responsibility and I needed to work hard and I needed to um, fill in that gap that was kind of taken from me. So although it was a bad situation, it was kind of I would like to look at it that I got the most out of a bad situation and it guided me in a direction that I ended up wanting to go. And the other one would be meeting my wife now. Um, has just really brought me great joy and two families combined that are wonderful and just a nice, calming, loving life. So those are my two favorite events or two important events.
All right. What lesson took you the longest to unlearn?
To unlearn. Oh, that's a good one. What lesson took me the longest to unlearn? Oh man, I think I'm still learning so many, so I still probably have many habits that I still need to unlearn. But I think probably my financial grip on things and how I thought that I should be handling my finances. Um, and although I always, for the most part, I lived indoors and I ate and I raised a family. So I felt like I was doing it right. So, but I was not. So I think that the hardest thing and the thing that took me longest was to get a grip on finances.
All right. Knowing that this is going to be recorded, what advice would you give to people who listen to this?
I would say, if you listen to my journey, that I had a dream at a young age. And I think my advice would be follow your heart. Um, it doesn't matter what it is, but find something you love to do. And there's very many ways to make a living at those things, even in acting or music. Not everybody becomes a star, but there's much more, a larger amount of people employed by those industries in recording, in music, in theater, in movie making. So I would say if you find something you love, and it doesn't have to be any of those things, it could be math, but whatever it is you love to do, sink your teeth into it, spend the time on it, and find a way that you can make that the way that you make money because I think that brings great joy.
All right. The last question. What is one thing you will always remember for the rest of your life?
I Ooh, that's a good one. I'll remember a lot of things, but that's a good one. So let me think. I think the thing I'll remember them that really jumps out at me when I think of one thing, and there are so many, is the first time I heard one of my songs on the radio. And I know I had a gig in New York, and I was driving down to the Jersey Shore by myself at maybe 1:30 in the morning to get a hotel because I had a show down there that night, and just driving and hearing a song that I wrote on the radio and announcing as a new artist, a new band called the Metros. That was the name of my band with their first single, and the song was called History. And I remember I had to pull over because I couldn't even drive. I had nobody to share it with. I think I was yelling out the window at strange cars, and they probably thought I was insane. But I remember that so clearly because it just blew me away. And I remember I literally couldn't drive, and I listened to the whole song, and boy, that made my night.
All right. That's the end of the interview.
All right, I hope this helped you, Andrew. And another thing I'll never forget is meeting you, my brother.
Thank
I hope we get to work get together soon again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss working with you. All right, man. I hope this helped you. I hope that you get an A+ on it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right, Andrew. You have a great day. I miss you, my friend. All right.
All right. See ya.
Bye, pal.